it comes to recital dates, that will not change. So you can be sure this is when things are happening. When it comes to recitals, every once in a while we'll change something like a rhythms night or something comes up. But this is really good things to keep with you all the time, but it's also on the website. So then we're going to talk about some of these fun things that we have scheduled.
Did you hear that question?
Oh, wait, yes.
She has an Afro one and a baby.
Oh.
Wouldn't you mini recital first, so should we go over that?
Yeah.
Why don't you put me through that and then pop back in?
Alright, so, oops. Technical difficulties. Aw, nuts. Okay. That's the wrong one. Alright. Sorry, I thought there was another slide there. Alright, so rhythms nights we already had one this year, our disco night. These are once a month parties that we have just to get to know the students in a fun, exciting place. So we have these crazy theme parties, and all the teachers try and come, and kids can dress up, and it's always free, and it's also a way of us saying, like, we appreciate your kids, and we appreciate you, and why don't you go out to a nice dinner while your kid parties with us and has a great time. So please encourage your kids to go to some rhythms nights. They do fill up, so you want them to sign up really soon after we announce them. Our next one is on October 30th, and it's the Halloween one. It is very popular, costume contest and all that. So it's free. If you ever want to make a donation, we'll accept it, but you don't have to. Every once in a while we need volunteers to bring some items from home or help us clean up afterwards, so if you ever want to do that, we'll mention it in our emails. And then Susan's talking about we have like a little teddy bear tee just for the minis, but that doesn't really apply to you. Dance therapy nights we do once or twice a year. It's basically, we call it dance therapy. It's a time for the kids to come and dance out all their feelings. Those middle schoolers, they have a lot of feelings, you know? So they come in and we do some sharing exercises, and then they get to dance. The end of the year, we do a crazy slumber party. 70, 80 kids and their teachers all sleeping over here in this space for the night, eating lots of junk food and dancing the night away. They'll look forward to that. That's where we have our Lost and Found fashion show. We also announce our awards, like our Dancer of the Year and our Class of the Year, things like that. And let's see, on the back, special workshops. We have, each month we're trying to host a special workshop that is totally separate from their other classes, just a fun thing to do. So far we had Hot August Nights, which was a summer theme, and then a music video workshop where they made a music video. And on October, I think it's 16th, I'm going to do a Halloween one, where we're going to do some Halloween dances and crafts and stuff like that. Can I turn the air conditioning? I need that anymore. Dance conventions are something that we do once or twice a year. It's where we go for a weekend of dancing, and we take classes from famous choreographers and teachers. So that's something for your kids to look forward to. It's only for kids that are that take 3 classes or more per week and are at least 10 years old. And we're planning on going on one in March, I think, is when we've decided. At some point, your kids may want to audition for our performance company. That's a company that performs at several venues throughout Marin, and then we go to Disneyland, or last year we went on a cruise. It's non-competitive, just working on kids' dedication, and they get to bond with each other and work really hard for something, which is great. And then we usually do a few other events throughout the year, field trips to go see the San Marin Musical, or the MSA Dance Extravaganza, or just different little things that come up. And if you ever have an idea for a great field trip, welcome to send that our way. So we'll let you know about those through emails. And that is what we wanted to tell you about that. So
Before we go to the recital, do you have any questions? I know that was a lot of information to take in.
yes.
It shows that this month we have a company chanting trip. What's that?
That is for our performance company that I was just talking about. So they are going, I don't know what I'm thinking, but I'm taking them camping next weekend.
Okay.
So yeah, that's something that your kids could look forward to one day when they maybe are our performance company. Anything else? Okay, so we're gonna talk about the recital. And if, because you're not going to be performing the recital, do you have a dancer, young dancer here, or are you just the dancer?
Yeah, my daughter.
She does dance.
Yeah, she's in that.
Okay, that's what I thought, but then, okay, I'm good, well then stay.
Okay.
Okay, yes, you can change that.
What
So
should we do about the one?
There's actually two now.
Okay.
Do you want to just quickly go meet with them?
Yeah, let me just, so the parents of kids that are in a performing arts class, so that's acting 1, show choir 2, voice or private voice lessons, I'll just do a quick little meeting with you in the back about their show. Okay? So we'll just do that right now and then you'll be all set.
Then you guys stay with me. So I'll talk kind of about our general winter recital. So that's the purple letter. And so our recital is in the last week. It's January 24th. So make sure to look at this. After reading it, there is a contract on the back that we'll get to in a little bit, but it's due on Friday, October 16th. So that's basically you committing to doing the show. There's a lot of information here. Our show is at the Petaluma Vets Auditorium in Petaluma. It's right next to the bowling alley up there. We've been using the venue for about 5 or 6 years now. We have 1 week of in-studio dress rehearsals. So the kids go to Christmas break or holiday break and they come back on like the 2nd or 3rd. And then there's 2 weeks of just regular classes. That's kind of just refreshing what they've learned and hopefully not forgotten too much over the holiday break. And then we have 1 week of in-studio dress rehearsals, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And then the performance is on Sunday, January 24th. That is something new. We normally do in the winter Saturday shows, but unfortunately the venue was booked. Somebody beat us to the punch, and so this was kind of our only option. It was either that or like the Friday night of the week that we come back. And it was like, there's no way we were going to be able to pull a show together in 4 days after these kids have been, you know, in Christmas and holiday mode. So that's when it is. Most of the classes will only be in 1 show. So you can kind of see the breakdown of Program A, which is our 1 o'clock show, and then Program B, which is our 5 o'clock show. Now it's getting cold. If you, sometimes parents maybe don't remember all the names of their kids' actual classes if they take so many. You're like, I don't know, she's in some ballet level on Tuesdays. I don't know what it's called. Let us know if we can look it up for you. And then what we recommend, if they're in multiple classes, go through and highlight it just so you can kind of see. Some kids will be in both, just based on classes and what levels they're in. So that's kind of the breakdown. We've grouped them together. So for instance, if your dancer is a level 1, we've tried pretty hard to keep like all the level 1s in like the 5 o'clock show. If your dancer is a level 4, most of the level 4 classes are in, you know, whatever show. So moving on. So if you flip it over on the back side, I just talked about we have an in-studio dress rehearsal. So that means it's right here in the studio, and by that time they have been given their costumes. They usually they'll get their costumes probably, I would say, the week that we come back from the holiday break. And they'll take them home, they'll organize them, and then during this in-studio rehearsal week, we're going to run it just like the show. So they need to have all their costume pieces, all their hair needs to be done, don't need to do their makeup. We use the studio downstairs as the dressing room. We tape off the dimensions of the stage in here, and we run it just like we would the show. So you can kind of see the breakdown of the rehearsal schedule that week. There are no regular dance classes that week. The mini classes they'll have their regular classes because their show's in December, and the performing arts kids will have their classes because their show has already happened. But for regular dance classes, we do not have normal classes that week. And so maybe you're not used to having your dancer come on a Wednesday so we just need to make sure that you guys are aware that your dancer may come on a different day than they normally do for their regular class. So again, kind of go through, circle the time slots. Again, we've tried to group it so that dancers only have to come to one, maybe two at the most. We do have some kids who take a bazillion classes and they basically are gonna have to live here for the week. But that's kind of the breakdown. And they're here at the studio, like I said. Do you have any questions kind of about that? No? Yes? Maybe?
Yeah, 'cause I don't know which.
Yeah. So your daughter dances on Thursday nights. So she's in hip hop 8. So
Is that 8A or 8B?
she is hip hop. Oh, that is a very good question. She is hip hop 8B. So for example, her rehearsal, if you look, will be on Tuesday, January 19th from 6 to 7. So she's grouped in that little group right there. And the way, before I move on, the way we did this, and this is something very new that we've done. Every year for 10 years now, it's just been a standard recital. Every teacher gets to pick their own dance, every teacher gets to pick their own costume, things like that. And so this year we thought we'd try something very new, so we'll see if it works, knock on wood. Every style of dance is going to have its own medley. So what that means, so for example, if you look at Tuesday, January 19th from 4 to 5, the classes listed are Character 2-3, Character 4, Character 8, and Choreography 1-2. So those 4 classes are going to be part of a medley. We have a theme picked out for them. The teachers are going to kind of coordinate entrances and exits and make it, instead of sitting through 33-minute numbers, we're hoping that it will shorten the show and give it a little more of a theme. Usually our winter show doesn't have a theme. It's just a straight, here's the recital, there's nothing really behind it. So this gives us kind of a little theme, a little something to aim towards. We haven't told any of the kids this, so if you go back and you ask them about this, they're not going to have a clue what you're talking about. So that's how they're grouped. So in the next couple of weeks, they will come find out what their medley is. Maybe they're part of the fairy tale character medley. Maybe they're part of the jazz sports medley. So for you guys, it's kind of nice because you're new to this, so you don't know what we've done in the years past, so you're like, this sounds great. So we'll see how this goes with the other 210 parents that we have. So it's just something different. My daughter added up the number of classes on the schedule. We teach 78 classes a week here at the studio. And so that's a long recital. Even if we cut it in half, that's, 35, 40 numbers in a show. And so we know for you guys as parents, you do not want to sit through a 3-hour, 4-hour show, especially on a Sunday night. And so this is our way of giving the recital some kind of theme and purpose, and it's also shortening every little number. So each class will be getting like a 1.5 minute number, and then all 4, for instance, that first group, they'll do like a little 30-second opening all together, those 4 little classes. So they'll get to dance with kids at other levels, which we're hoping will generate friendships and things like that. They'll feel excited because they get to dance with older dancers. They'll each have their own little 1.5 minute number, and then they'll have like a closing number together. So it's basically, like I said, instead of 33-minute dances, you're going to get like maybe 8-minute dances. Does that kind of make sense? So like I said, for you guys it's great because you don't know what we've done in the past, so this all sounds hunky-dory. So like I said, they have no idea about this. If you go home and ask them, they're not going to have a clue. But this is just basically the breakdown. You know what I mean? You just need to know when to get them here and when to pick them up. You flip it over. That's the performance schedule. So if your dancer is in the 1 o'clock show, they would arrive at whatever time that is. If they're in the 5 o'clock show, they would arrive at that time. If they happen to be in both shows, there's a break in between. We would love for them to go get lunch with you guys, or if they want, they can bring their lunch and just stay at the theater in the dressing room and hang out with us. And
And then after the shows, it usually takes about 20 minutes for them to clean up the dressing room, so we just ask that you're patient and kind of hang out. We have flowers and videos and photographers and flowers for sale in the lobby, so there's lots of stuff for you to do while they're waiting, or while you're waiting. So the production fee and contract, Kate talked a little bit earlier about, we really like to keep our production fees and our costs down. So for the winter show, it's just $40 per student. That's not per class, it's not per anything. It's just, you have one dancer, you pay $40. You have two dancers, you pay $80. They don't get to keep their costumes. Downstairs underneath us, we have a huge costume closet with floor to ceiling boxes of costumes. And so what we do, we buy all new costumes in the spring, and then in the winter, we reuse all of our old stuff. And it's great because we can basically costume them for free. So you're just paying a production fee, or the printing and the cost of the teachers and the time and things like that. So it's not per class, which is nice, because I know some studios charge $40 per class and a production fee and a blah 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 fee. We're pretty simple, just $40, that's it. That money, along with the contract that I told you on the back page, is due on the 16th. We really need it in by then, because the teachers will wait as long as possible till all the contracts are turned in. We don't want them to start the dance until we know that all the dancers are committed. What if they start choreographing the dance and then 3 people didn't turn in their contracts and then they decided they didn't want to do it? So now the teacher has to redo things and restage things. So please, the sooner you can get these contracts into us, we can even turn them in tonight, then they can move forward and start teaching dances and be well on our way to the winter recital. The production fee is non-refundable. So if you sign this contract and you cut us a check for $40 and in 2 months you're like, oh shoot, we decided to go to Tahoe instead, can we have our money back? Unfortunately, it's not refundable. So please look it over. We do like a pretty firm commitment. Charity dance. Each year we have the students choose a special charity that they'd like to raise money for. We'll pass around baskets during the show to collect money. Unlike in the past, we will not be learning a charity dance. The charity dance used to kind of close the winter show. It was kind of the finale, but we've kind of done away with that since we're doing all of these little medleys. But we're gonna find a way to incorporate whatever charity we choose into the recital. For example, if we choose a charity that donates prom dresses to underprivileged teens, maybe we'll ask that every student or parent or whatever bring in an old prom dress, and we can have them, or a book, a reading charity, for kids who can't afford books and something like that. We'll have everybody bring in books, kind of like a canned food drive. When you come to the recital, bring in whatever it is. So we'll come up with something, but don't worry. Admission, we do all of our ticket sales online. They're not sold here at the studio. They're $12. If you have children 5 and under, they can attend for free. Tickets will go on sale Monday, January 4th. We'll send you a link. We have a great online ticket program, and you can buy your tickets right online. You print out the little confirmation, you bring it to the recital, and you're good to go. We will sell a very limited number of seats at the door, but we definitely suggest buying your tickets in advance. The doors will open 30 minutes before showtime, and we never allow the parents into the theater before that because we don't want anybody saving seats. We want it to be fair. So if you are one of those parents that wants to get there and sit right in the front row, get there early and wait by the door. And you can run in and get your seats. Costumes, hair, and makeup. Like I said, they don't get to keep their costumes. They borrow the ones that we have. Sometimes, well, most of the time, we like them to provide a couple of basic things. The black leotard is always a good thing to have, the spaghetti strap kind. We never want our students to raise their arms up and have their bare midriff showing. We always want them to be covered completely. So a black leotard is always a good thing to have. Black leggings, those are always good. A lot of the teachers use black booty shorts, so if you booty shorts are the rage now. So basic things, but for the most part, as far as the outer costume and all the accessories and the things that go along with it, we basically just bag it up and give it to your dancer and label it, and that's theirs to keep until after the recital's over. Flip it over, we're almost done. You will get a more specific costume letter when it gets closer to the recital. And it's great, the teachers list out exactly what needs to be done for each dance. So if it's Jazz 1, it'll say Jazz 1. It'll say this, and this color tights, this type of shoe, this type of hairstyle, here's what needs to go in the hair. We always say the items listed in bold are things the dancers need to provide themselves. So that would be like your shoes, your own tights, things like that. So that will come out probably right before Christmas break, because maybe they can ask a relative for a black leotard for Christmas. Things like that. Costume return. The students and parents, you guys must return those costumes that they borrowed the week after the show. So that very next Monday, the 25th, or Tuesday, the 26th, we will be here at the studio. We'll have a checklist of who's turned in their costumes. If for some reason these times do not work for you, you need to let us know before the actual day of the recital. Because, or another good thing is to, if you know you're working and you can't make it here, just send it, bag it up, send it with somebody else that you're friends with in the class to make sure that it gets here. Because we will charge you a $25 late fee if it's not turned in by Tuesday the 6th. And if for some reason you lose any part of the costume, maybe not like a bow, but let's say you lost the whole beautiful sparkly top that we gave your daughter, you will be charged a fee of $50. So make sure it stays on the hanger or in the bag that it came with, and basically just return it the same way you got it that very next day. Parent volunteers, we always need an army of volunteers to run a show with 200 dancers in it.
Takes a village.
Takes a village. So starting October 5th, which is Monday, right? Yeah, Monday, Megan will send out a volunteer link. We've got a good online system, kind of like Sign Up Genius. It's called Volunteer Link. Every parent is required to volunteer for one slot. If you have 2 dancers, you're required to volunteer for 2 slots.
If they're performing in the recital,
if they're
if for
performing-
some reason you're not having your child be in the recital, then you're off the hook.
Right. And we have lots of jobs. So when Megan sends out the link, you'll see we have rhythms nights jobs, we have ironing jobs, sewing jobs, little things. Maybe you don't want to commit to something on the actual day of the recital. There's other things that you can do prior to that. And if you are just, I'm busy, I don't have any time, I don't want to do it, then we have a fee of $25 that you can pay, and then you don't have to volunteer at all. You can just opt out. We'll never bug you again. Cleaning up. So after the shows, the students, like I said, will not be allowed to leave until the theater is clean. Like everything needs to be put back in. Even if your own dancer is cleaned up, everybody at their table also has to be cleaned up. So they'll only be released as soon as everybody is packed up. They need to work as a team. Following the recital, we will be taking that following week off. So we will be closed. So from the 25th to the 29th, there will be no classes that week. Take a break, take a breather.
But return your costume.
Return your costumes on those 2 days. And then the new session or classes basically just keep going. They roll over and they start again on February